Henry had always been a successful businessman. Tall and impeccably dressed in his tailored suits, he commanded respect with his authoritative presence. His salt and pepper hair and neatly trimmed beard hinted at the wisdom and experience he had gained over the years. Yet, behind the facade of success, there was a void that he had been neglecting for far too long. In the heart of the bustling city, Henry's office overlooked a sea of corporate buildings, much like his life. He was immersed in a world of board meetings, negotiations, and profit margins, often working late into the night. The business world had become his second family, and his actual family had taken a backseat, particularly his son, Landon. Landon, a young man in his late 20s, bore a striking resemblance to his father. He had the same intense, brown eyes and a strong jawline. However, the lines on his face revealed a different story, one filled with disappointment and abandonment. He had grown up in the shadow of his father's success, always yearning for his attention, but never receiving it. Landon lived a modest life in a small apartment, working a job he tolerated but didn't love. He spent his evenings in solitude, with only the memories of his father's rare visits to keep him company. Their relationship had deteriorated to mere phone calls on birthdays and holidays, where empty words were exchanged but no genuine connection was established. One brisk autumn evening, as the city's lights shimmered in the background, Henry found himself alone in his office, contemplating the emptiness that had been gnawing at his heart. The echoes of his colleagues' laughter from a nearby conference room were a stark reminder of what he was missing. He had conquered the business world, but he was a stranger in his own family. That evening, as the office's clock ticked past midnight, Henry made a decision that would change the course of his life. He picked up the phone and dialed Landon's number. The phone rang for what felt like an eternity before Landon answered with a weary voice. "Hello?" Landon muttered, clearly surprised by the late-night call. "Landon, it's me, your father," Henry said, his voice tinged with vulnerability. There was a pause on the other end of the line, as if Landon couldn't believe his ears. "Dad? Is everything okay?" "No, Landon, everything is not okay," Henry replied, his voice cracking. "I've neglected you for far too long, and I want to make things right. Can we meet tomorrow?" Landon hesitated, torn between his long-standing resentment and a glimmer of hope. "Where?" "Let's meet at that little cafe you used to love so much, the one near your apartment," Henry suggested. "How about lunch? Is that okay?" Landon agreed, and they set a time for the following afternoon. As Henry hung up the phone, he felt a mix of apprehension and excitement. It was the first step in mending the fractured bond with his son. The next day, as the sun bathed the city in its gentle warmth, Henry arrived at the cafe and found Landon sitting at a corner table, staring out of the window. His son had aged since the last time they met, and the weariness in his eyes had deepened. Henry walked up to the table, and Landon looked up, locking eyes with his father. There was an awkward silence between them, filled with years of unspoken emotions. "Dad," Landon finally said, his voice trembling, "I never thought I'd see you here." Henry took a seat across from his son and sighed deeply. "I've been a terrible father, Landon." "I'm so sorry." Landon's eyes welled up with tears. "You don't know how much I needed to hear that, Dad. It's been so hard." Henry reached across the table and placed his hand on Landon's. "I promise, I'm going to make it right. I want to be a part of your life again, and I want to know you." As they sat in the cafe, they talked for hours, recounting missed birthdays, family vacations that never happened, and the countless moments they should have shared but didn't. Landon shared stories of his life, his dreams, and his struggles, and Henry listened intently, hanging on every word. Over the next few weeks, Henry made an effort to reconnect with his son. He attended Landon's company picnic, showing up with a basket of homemade sandwiches as a peace offering. The gesture was met with mixed reactions from Landon's colleagues, but Landon appreciated the effort. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the bond between father and son grew stronger. They started spending more time together, going for walks in the park, watching movies, and simply talking about life. The more time they spent together, the more they realized how much they had in common. One evening, while enjoying a homemade dinner at Landon's apartment, they discussed their shared love for hiking. Landon revealed that he had always wanted to climb a mountain, but had never found the opportunity or someone to go with. Henry, determined to make up for lost time, proposed a bold idea. "Why don't we climb a mountain together, Landon?" he asked. Landon looked at his father with surprise. "Are you serious, Dad? I've missed out on so much of your life, and I want to make up for it," Henry replied. "Climbing a mountain together will not only be an adventure, but also a symbol of our journey to reconnect and heal." Landon agreed, and they began planning their mountain expedition. They researched various mountains, hiking routes, and the equipment they would need. As the day of the climb approached, Henry and Landon spent countless hours training, both physically and mentally, for the challenge ahead. The day finally arrived, and they found themselves at the base of a towering mountain, their backpacks filled with supplies and their hearts filled with anticipation. They looked up at the summit, a distant point that seemed unreachable, but they were determined to conquer it together. The climb was grueling, with steep inclines, rocky terrain, and unpredictable weather. There were moments of doubt, exhaustion, and frustration, but Henry and Landon supported each other every step of the way. They shared stories, laughed, and encouraged each other through the toughest moments. As they ascended higher, the air grew thinner, and the landscape became increasingly breathtaking. They marveled at the beauty of the world around them, feeling a profound sense of unity with nature and with each other. At one point, as they rested on a rocky outcrop, Landon turned to his father and said, "I never thought I'd have this experience with you, Dad. I never thought we'd be so close." Henry smiled, his eyes filled with pride and love. "I'm grateful for this journey, Landon. It's never too late to rebuild what was lost." They continued their ascent, and after several days of hard work and determination, they finally reached the summit. Standing at the highest point, they gazed out at the world below, feeling a sense of accomplishment that words couldn't fully capture. It was a moment that symbolized the rekindling of their father-son bond. The descent was just as challenging as the climb, but the challenges only served to strengthen their connection. They faced the obstacles together, relying on their newfound trust and support. As they returned to the base of the mountain, they shared a sense of triumph that extended far beyond their physical achievement. Once back in the city, Henry and Landon's relationship continued to grow. The mountain climb had been a transformative experience for both of them, and they were determined not to let their bond weaken again. They spent more time together, not as father and son trying to make up for lost time, but as friends who genuinely enjoyed each other's company. Landon's life also began to change. With his father's support and encouragement, he pursued a career he was truly passionate about, leaving behind the job he had merely tolerated. The sense of purpose and fulfillment he found in his new career was a testament to the positive influence his father had become in his life. In parallel, Henry began to reevaluate his priorities. He gradually scaled back his involvement in the business world, delegating responsibilities to others and freeing up more of his time for his family. The boardroom was no longer his second home, and he realized that success in the corporate world was empty without the warmth of family waiting for him at the end of the day. As the years passed, Henry and Landon continued to build their relationship, celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays together. They were no longer strangers. They were a father and a son who had rekindled their bond and forged an unbreakable connection. During this time, Landon met a wonderful woman named Sarah, and they fell in love. Henry was overjoyed to see his son find happiness and welcomed Sarah into their family with open arms. The love between Landon and Sarah was a reminder of the importance of family, and it inspired Henry to cherish his own relationships even more. In the midst of these changes, Henry received news that his mother, Landon's grandmother, had fallen seriously ill. It was a sobering moment that brought the importance of family bonds into sharp focus. Henry and Landon immediately traveled to be with her, offering their support and love during her final days. As they sat by her bedside, Henry held his mother's hand and looked at Landon. "I've learned that family is the most precious thing in life, Landon. Don't make the same mistake I did. Cherish every moment with the people you love." Landon nodded, his eyes filled with gratitude for the father who had made amends and had become a true source of love and wisdom in his life. After his mother's passing, Henry and Landon continued to treasure the moments they shared. They embraced the significance of family bonds, prioritizing their loved ones above all else. The void that had plagued Henry for so long had been replaced with the warmth of a rekindled relationship with his son. Their story was a reminder that it is never too late to make amends, to rebuild connections, and to prioritize the people who matter most in our lives. It was a testament to the power of love, forgiveness, and the enduring strength of family bonds. Henry had learned that success in the business world was empty without the love and connection of family, and he was determined never to forget that lesson again. As the years passed, Henry and Landon's relationship continued to flourish. They had made significant strides in reconnecting, but their journey was far from over. It was not without its challenges and intricacies, but their newfound bond was steadfast. Landon and Sarah's relationship had deepened, and they decided to get married. The upcoming wedding brought about a new set of emotions and experiences for both Landon and Henry. They spent countless hours together planning the big day, from choosing the perfect venue to selecting the finest suits. As father and son worked side by side, they discovered a newfound joy in collaborating on something meaningful. The wedding day arrived, and the ceremony was held in a picturesque garden. Landon, dressed in a handsome suit, waited at the altar with tears of happiness in his eyes. When he saw his father walking his mother down the aisle, he was overcome with emotion. It was a symbolic moment, as Henry, the man who had been absent for so many of Landon's important milestones, was now proudly giving his son away. During the reception, father and son took the stage to make a heartfelt speech. Henry spoke of his regrets and the transformation he had undergone, emphasizing the importance of never taking family for granted. His words were met with a standing ovation, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room. The wedding was not only a celebration of Landon and Sarah's love, but also a testament to the healing of their family. After the wedding, Landon and Sarah started their life together, and Henry continued to evolve as a father. He began to actively mentor his son in both his personal and professional life. They discussed financial planning, investment strategies, and other aspects of life that Henry had vast experience in. Landon, eager to learn, soaked up his father's wisdom, grateful for the guidance he had longed for as a young man. Meanwhile, Henry's gradual disengagement from the corporate world allowed him to explore new interests and passions. He discovered a love for art, which he had never had the time for during his career-centric years. He spent weekends in art galleries, cultivating a deep appreciation for creativity. Landon, noticing his father's newfound passion, joined him in exploring the world of art. The two found joy in sharing this interest and often went on art-inspired adventures together. One day, while perusing an art gallery, they came across a beautiful painting that captured their hearts. It depicted a mountain landscape, reminiscent of their own transformative experience. Landon turned to his father and said, "Dad, I think this painting is a symbol of our journey together. We should get it." Henry agreed, and they purchased the painting, which would serve as a permanent reminder of the mountain they had conquered, both literally and figuratively. It would hang in their home as a symbol of their renewed connection and the importance of never losing sight of the people who truly matter. As the years went by, Henry and Landon continued to support each other in every aspect of life. Landon's career flourished, and he found purpose and fulfillment in his work, with his father's guidance serving as a constant source of inspiration. They celebrated birthdays, anniversaries, and family milestones together, cherishing every moment as if it were the most precious gift. Henry's transformation was not lost on his colleagues and friends, who had witnessed his evolution from a successful businessman to a devoted father. His story served as a reminder to them that it was possible to prioritize family while still achieving success in the corporate world. Many of his associates were inspired to reevaluate their own priorities and make more time for their loved ones. In the midst of their continuing journey, Henry and Landon faced new challenges. As Henry approached retirement, the prospect of slowing down and relinquishing control of the business weighed heavily on his mind. He worried about how the company would fare without him and if it would continue to provide for the people he cared about. Landon, aware of his father's concerns, sat him down one evening. "Dad, you've given me so much guidance and support over the years. It's time for me to take the reins of the business and ensure its success continues. You've shown me that family is the most important thing, and I want to ensure our family legacy." Henry looked at his son with pride and gratitude. "Landon, I believe in you, and I trust that you'll lead the company with the same dedication and integrity that I have. Family is indeed the most important legacy, and I couldn't be prouder." With a heavy heart, Henry transitioned the leadership of the company to Landon, allowing him to take on a more advisory role. The business, under Landon's capable leadership, continued to thrive, cementing its status as a family legacy that spanned generations. With his professional responsibilities reduced, Henry was finally able to fully embrace retirement. He and Landon decided to embark on a new adventure together, this time on a journey that took them to places they had only dreamed of visiting. They traveled to far-flung destinations, immersing themselves in different cultures and exploring the world with a sense of wonder and appreciation they had never experienced before. One summer, they found themselves in a quaint village in the south of France, sipping wine at a sidewalk cafe. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the cobblestone streets, Henry turned to Landon and said, "I never thought we would be here together, exploring the world and enjoying life. I'm so grateful for this second chance." Landon smiled, his eyes filled with contentment. "I am too, Dad. We've come a long way." Their journey had been marked by introspection, forgiveness, and an unbreakable bond. Henry had learned that success in the business world was only a part of the equation of a fulfilling life, and he had found the missing piece in the reconnection with his son. Landon, in turn, had experienced healing, growth, and the love of a father who had transformed himself into a devoted family man. As they sat in that French village, watching the world go by, they knew that their story was a testament to the significance of family bonds, the power of making amends, and the beauty of prioritizing loved ones. Henry had learned that it was never too late to rebuild what was lost, and their story would be a source of inspiration for generations to come. As Henry and Landon's relationship continued to thrive, their lives took an unexpected turn. The bond between father and son had become unbreakable, and they were relishing their newfound connection. However, an unforeseen event would test their resolve and the strength of their relationship. One summer evening, as Henry and Landon enjoyed a quiet dinner at their favorite restaurant, Landon received a phone call that would change everything. It was Sarah, his wife, who was calling from the hospital. She was in labor, and their first child was on the way. Panic and excitement filled Landon's eyes as he rushed to the hospital, leaving his father behind at the restaurant. Henry could see the mix of emotions on his son's face and understood that this was a moment Landon had been eagerly anticipating for a long time. As he sat alone at the restaurant table, Henry pondered the turn of events. He realized that he was about to become a grandfather, and a rush of nostalgia and longing for family swelled within him. The news of impending grandfatherhood was a profound reminder of how time had passed and how much he had missed in Landon's life. Hours turned into an entire night as Henry waited for news about the birth of his first grandchild. He couldn't help but reflect on his own experiences as a father and how he had let the pursuit of success distance him from the people he loved most. Finally, as the sun began to rise, he received a call from Landon. His voice was filled with excitement and exhaustion as he said, "Dad, you're a grandfather. It's a girl, and Sarah and the baby are healthy." Henry felt an overwhelming rush of emotion. He had become a grandfather, and the news filled him with joy and a renewed sense of purpose. He rushed to the hospital to meet his granddaughter, her tiny fingers wrapped around his own as he held her for the first time. Over the following years, Henry and Landon embraced their roles as grandfather and father, respectively. They were determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past and to be present for every moment of their granddaughter's life. They watched her take her first steps, heard her first words, and celebrated her birthdays with boundless love and enthusiasm. As their family continued to grow, they were introduced to the challenges of balancing work, family, and their personal lives. Landon's responsibilities as both a father and the head of the family business grew, and it became increasingly difficult to find the time to nurture their connection. At the same time, Henry's desire to enjoy retirement and explore the world was hampered by his commitment to be a supportive grandfather and father. He found himself torn between the obligations of family and the personal freedom he had longed for during his business years. As the years passed, the intricate dynamics of their evolving family became apparent. They were no longer just father and son, but also grandfather and father, navigating the complexities of multiple generations. The challenges of maintaining a successful business, fostering a strong family connection, and pursuing individual dreams became a delicate balancing act. One evening, as they sat on the porch, watching their granddaughter play in the yard, Landon turned to his father and said, "Dad, I'm grateful for the transformation in our relationship and the love you've given us. But we need to find a way to balance our responsibilities and personal desires." Henry nodded, understanding the weight of his son's words. "You're right, Landon. It's time for us to reassess our priorities and make some changes. Family is still the most important thing in my life, but I also want to explore the world with you, like we did when we climbed that mountain." A sense of determination washed over them as they began to plan for the future. They decided to delegate more responsibilities within the family business to allow both of them to enjoy the freedom they desired. They also made a commitment to set aside specific time for family bonding and adventures, similar to the mountain climb that had brought them closer. Their newfound resolve was tested as they faced unforeseen challenges in the business world. A fierce competitor had emerged, threatening their company's stability. Landon and Henry were forced to pool their resources, knowledge, and expertise to navigate the turbulent waters of the corporate world. Amid the chaos, a plot twist unfolded that neither of them had anticipated. It was revealed that the competitor who had been causing havoc within their industry was none other than Sarah's brother, Greg. He had harbored a grudge against Landon for years, feeling that he had been overlooked and mistreated within the family. The revelation sent shockwaves through the family. Landon felt betrayed by his brother-in-law, and Henry was left with a difficult choice: support his son or mediate between family members. The complexity of the situation weighed heavily on their hearts as they grappled with the impact of the corporate rivalry on their family bonds. As they navigated the legal battles and attempts at reconciliation, the importance of family bonds came into sharp focus once again. Landon and Henry realized that the love and unity within their family was more valuable than any business success. Their shared experiences, triumphs, and challenges had only strengthened their relationship and reminded them of the significance of prioritizing loved ones above all else. With time and effort, Landon and Greg managed to resolve their differences and rebuild their relationship. The family, although shaken, emerged from the ordeal stronger and more committed to each other than ever before. They had weathered a storm that had tested their bonds, and they had come through it together, understanding the power of forgiveness and reconciliation. Their story continued with a new sense of purpose and a commitment to finding balance in their lives. As they faced the intricate challenges of managing a successful business, maintaining a strong family connection, and pursuing their own dreams, Henry and Landon had learned that the significance of family bonds and the strength of their relationship could withstand even the most unexpected twist of fate. As Henry and Landon continued to navigate the complexities of their evolving family and the challenges of balancing work and personal life, a new chapter in their story began to unfold. The family was facing unexpected changes that would test their bonds once more. Landon and Sarah's daughter, Emma, was growing up quickly, and the young girl had always been curious about her family history. One day, while they were going through old family photos, Emma asked about her great-grandparents on her mother's side. Sarah had always been reticent about her own family, and this was a subject she had avoided discussing. Curiosity got the best of Emma, and she decided to do some digging on her own. She discovered a mysterious family secret that Sarah had kept hidden for years. It turned out that Sarah's parents had disapproved of her relationship with Landon, and they had severed all ties with her when she married him. The revelation was a shock to Landon, who had been completely unaware of this family discord. With mixed emotions, Landon confronted Sarah, who broke down and explained the painful history. She had hidden the truth to protect their family, fearing that it would create a rift between them. Landon, conflicted between his wife and his father, felt a deep sense of betrayal and anger. Henry, caught in the middle of the family drama, did his best to mediate between his son and daughter-in-law. It was a difficult time, as he tried to preserve the family he had worked so hard to rebuild while also empathizing with Sarah's difficult position. The situation was further complicated by the fact that Sarah's parents had been struggling with their own health issues. Landon and Sarah had to decide whether to reach out and offer support, potentially mending the strained family ties or respecting Sarah's wishes to keep them at a distance. As the family grappled with this new challenge, Henry and Landon were once again reminded of the intricacies of maintaining family bonds. The weight of unresolved issues from the past resurfaced, and they were faced with the difficult task of navigating a path toward reconciliation while maintaining their own relationship. Amidst the turmoil, Henry's health began to decline. His advancing age and the stress of the family situation took a toll on him. Landon, torn between his own family struggles and his concern for his father's well-being, found himself in a difficult position. One day, while visiting his father at the hospital, Henry looked at Landon with a sense of urgency. "Landon, I've realized that life is too short for grudges and unresolved issues. I want you to find a way to forgive Sarah's parents and help heal the rift. I want to see our family whole and united before it's too late." Landon nodded, understanding the gravity of his father's request. It was a daunting task, but he knew it was the right thing to do. He reached out to Sarah's parents, expressing his desire to reconcile and offer support during their health struggles. They were hesitant at first, but ultimately agreed to a meeting. The meeting was emotionally charged, with tears and apologies on both sides. Landon and Sarah's parents acknowledged their mistakes and expressed their love for their daughter and granddaughter. It was a difficult, yet ultimately healing, process that helped mend the rift in the family. In the midst of these family challenges, Henry's health continued to deteriorate. It became clear that he didn't have much time left. His life had come full circle, from a successful businessman who had neglected his family to a devoted father and grandfather who had rebuilt the bonds that had once been broken. On his deathbed, surrounded by his family, Henry shared his final words. "Landon, you've come so far, and I'm proud of the father and husband you've become. Cherish your family, and never let grudges or unresolved issues stand in the way of love. I love you both." As Henry passed away, Landon and Sarah held his hands, and Emma stood beside them, a silent witness to the power of family bonds and the importance of forgiveness. Henry's passing was a painful yet poignant reminder of the significance of family, love, and the need to prioritize the people who matter most in life. The family was united once more, having navigated complex challenges and come out stronger on the other side. They had learned that love and forgiveness could heal even the deepest wounds. In the years that followed, Landon and Sarah continued to build their life together, making family their top priority. They instilled in Emma the values of love, forgiveness, and cherishing family bonds. Henry's legacy lived on in their hearts, a constant reminder of the transformation they had undergone as a family. Their journey had been filled with intricacies, challenges, and unexpected twists, but it had ultimately strengthened their family bonds and reinforced the importance of prioritizing loved ones above all else. They had learned that no matter the complexities of life, the power of family and the love between a father and son could overcome any obstacle. In the final chapter of their remarkable journey, the family gathered on a warm summer evening at a tranquil lakeside. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a radiant palette of colors across the sky, while fireflies danced in the soft, golden light. As they sat together, watching the breathtaking sunset, a sense of serenity washed over them. They could feel Henry's presence in the tranquil beauty of the moment, a reminder that he was never truly gone, but lived on in their hearts and in the memories they had created together. Landon, Sarah, and Emma were now joined by an extended family of loved ones, their bonds stronger than ever. They laughed, shared stories, and celebrated the love that had weathered the storms of the past. And then, in the fading light, Emma, now a young woman, turned to her father and mother. With a smile, she said, "This is the legacy we've inherited from Grandpa and built together, a legacy of love and forgiveness." Landon and Sarah nodded, tears of gratitude in their eyes. They understood the profound truth in Emma's words. In that timeless moment, as the sun's last rays dipped beneath the water's surface, the family held hands, united in love and forgiveness. It was a breathtaking ending, a culmination of their remarkable journey, a reminder that the power of family bonds and the strength of forgiveness could illuminate even the darkest corners of their lives, leaving a lasting impression on all who witnessed it.